topics in this live. First, we're going to start off with what you're seeing on the screen. This is Toledo, Ohio. This is the abandoned home where KEIMANI Lateef was found murdered. Someone set this house on fire. That is the information that I read a little while ago. It is under investigation at the current moment. As far as the memorial of the items that people put out, it has not been affected because they had moved those items a little while ago. So this is the latest breaking news pertaining to the house in Toledo, Ohio. It is being put out by firemen there. Very crazy situation. I guess someone decided that they want the house down. Since the city was taking too long to take it down, somebody decided to take it upon themselves to set the house on fire. Thank you all for the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Now, you all know that was wrong to set the house on fire. We get it. It's an eyesore. The child was murdered, taken there, discarded there. But setting fires to structures is against the law, and you know better. As for Darnell Jones, he gets into court yesterday. He has a $4 million bail. He was in a wheelchair. Documents say that he admitted to authorities that he did kill KEIMANI Lateef, stabbed her in the neck. She was dragged to this house that you're looking at right now involuntarily. So that means without her consent. I'm assuming deceased, because I can't see you dragging somebody from street to street alive. So I'm assuming she was dead when she was taken to this house and discarded like trash. And then he set this house on fire to cover up his crime. But once again, Darnell Jones attended court yesterday, $4 million bond by the judge. Documents say he admitted to killing the said child, his alleged girl child. Sean Puffy Combs, latest news, his attorneys are asking for a 2-month delay because of the new superseding indictment against him, but the judge has decided that trial will start next month on schedule, on time. They also said he appeared very gray in court, and that's expected. A lot of people do gray when they go to jail, when they go to prison. They don't usually look the same as they entered. So that's the latest information on Sean Puffy Combs. Menendez brothers. Right now, it's a debate between the state and their attorneys about a risk assessment from the parole board. I guess that means, would they be a hinder to society if they are released? Do you believe they should be released or they should stay in prison? Give me your opinion. That's the latest debates. The latest debate pertaining to the Menendez brothers. A risk assessment was asked, I guess, by the state to decide if they should be released. But everything's going forward. Well, that's the latest delay, basically. It's a risk assessment. And I don't think the Menendez attorney, he is not happy. I watched his last commentary on the news, and he's very disgusted. And he also is asking for the district attorney to be recused, the Menendez brothers' lawyer. He wants the DA to be recused. Okay? Wendy Williams, she was out a week or so ago with friends and out for dinner, doing different things. But now she's complaining that she was given a new pill and she doesn't recognize the pill and she's wondering what it's for. She's called the doctor. She's asked the guardian, Miss Morsay, to respond. She hasn't gotten a response from anybody. So she's a little bit stressed out about that. So it's amazing how things can change. 1 minute she's out having a good time. The next minute she's upset about a pill being given to her and she doesn't recognize the pill, but I don't blame her. That lets you know that Wendy Williams is aware of her faculties, that she's not just letting people hand her medicine and she's not looking at the color and the size of the medicine. So kudos to her to be aware of her faculties and paying attention, because if she had dementia, as they claim she has, she would just readily take the medicine and keep it moving. Put it in her mouth, drink the water, so on, so forth. Okay. Trying to bring you all my latest updates, everybody. Now, Carmelo Anthony, as you know, he's accused of stabbing a young man at a track meet. They had a disagreement. His mother has spoken out at a press conference. We also learned that Mr. Metcalf showed up, but he was escorted out because the family felt it was inappropriate for him to show up to that press conference, and they felt like he didn't have any regard for the family by showing up. I'm going to put a poll up about that. You can weigh in on, was it right for Mr. Metcalf to show up? Basically, he's saying that, you don't have any ill feelings or he's forgiven, I guess, the boy for killing his son. But I don't know. I don't know what to believe. All I know is the mother says this white kid put his hands on her son 2 times and he stabbed him. Now, as I said, he should not have been on the school grounds with a knife, and the white kid shouldn't have put his hands on him. You don't put your hands on anybody, because even if they got the fight, it still would have been bad if there was no weapon involved. If he was in their seat, he should have just kindly got up and moved, but he didn't. See, that's the whole thing. One thing begets another. That's how you end up with true crime. Somebody says something, somebody don't like, somebody put their hands on somebody, next thing you know, you got a crime. As for the Anthonys, there are rumors flying around that they have purchased a house and bought a new car. Well, this is where I have a problem with this as far as that $400-something donated for his defense. The mother says they're using that money for a lawyer. But if you bought a house, I have a problem with that. Renting a house, rumor says it's $3,500. Well, you've been found. You're using your government name to rent a house, buy a house, that's all the same. People are going to find you. So what's going to be the difference between the house you were in and the house you're in now? Nothing. Okay? Nothing. Now, the new car. The neighbor says it has a paper tag on it and it expires June 4th. So somebody zoomed in on that tag. So if you move to a new place with a new car, then that means these people realized who you were from the news. So this is why I'm saying running from one place to the other, it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything. And why rent a house? You got enough money to put money down to buy a house. I mean, that's how most people are going to look at it. Naturally, they're not going to tell you how much they put down on a house, how much they put down for a deposit, or if they're going to buy a house. But it just looks bad because the son has been accused of killing this kid. He's out on bond. The mother also argued that. What is the big deal with my son getting a bond when other people have been bonded out? Crimes of white people killing black people, they've gotten bonds, which is true. But it looks bad, that's the point. And buying a car, that's just worse. That's just worse. So the money you spend on buying a car, don't know if it's a 25 or 24, that's money you could have put down on a whole house to buy a house. So this is why this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense at all. And like I said, it's a bad look considering you're being threatened. You feel like you've been threatened. You want people to stop threatening you. She's also telling the public that we didn't do anything. We didn't hurt this kid. It was self-defense on our son's part. We want you all to leave us alone. Stop bothering us. Stop threatening us. And I do find it interesting that due to the fact that this is a black kid and a white kid who's dead, that this black family is being threatened when we have so many crimes where white people have killed black people. I mean, it's just the truth. Many crimes, police brutality, police shootings of African-American people. Stand your ground when people feel like they stood their ground and they shot a black person for whatever reason. They got bonds, they got bail. But I would agree. Why is it people up in an uproar because he got a bail and got a bond? People get bonds every day, all different races. Hispanic, white, black, Jewish. People murder people every day. People accused of murdering people every day. Every day somebody's accused of murdering somebody. And they get a bond, they get a bail. So I would agree with her. Why is it a problem that my child got a reduction in a bail? So he got out earlier this week. He got a bond reduction. He was able to get out. And the mother's saying she just wants you all to stop harassing her, the public, the media, whomever, stop harassing her family. But like I said, we'll let 12 members of the jury decide what happened that day at the track meet. But I don't agree with, I guess I'm really on the fence about this moving business, and I definitely don't agree with buying the car. Hello, Scott, how are you this week? Buying the car was a bad decision. That you should have never bought the car because it just looks bad. I mean, it's already a terrible situation with what your son is going through and what the family, you know, the Metcalfs, they're mourning their child. It just looks bad. You purchasing a car. And this is what people do when they get money, okay? Common sense. This is what people do when they get money. They buy things. They buy things they probably shouldn't buy. This is why they always tell you be careful about donating your money to GoFundMes. Now, she's saying that they just got access to the money. But what people are going to say is, well, it don't matter when you got access to the money. It's what you're doing with the money. It's what you're doing with the money. Because 400-something thousand, that's really nothing when you're talking about hiring high-power attorneys. Naturally, they're going to want a lot of money to work around the clock. They're paid hourly. You can run through $400,000 very quickly for legal fees. Just saying. And if you're already putting money down on a house, well, you got to be able to keep the mortgage up. Do you all make enough to pay $3,500 a month in mortgage? Water, light, trash, got to pay all that every month. I don't know what situation they had beforehand, if they were living in an apartment or condo before. But like I just said, if you're going to have access to a lot of money and you taking that money to move, you should have just taken the money to put down on a house to buy. That's just me personally. What's the point in renting at $3,500 a month? When you already got access to $400,000, you might as well just put money down to buy a house. That's just my opinion. Would have judged him. Because they're judging them now. They're judging them for moving to a new house. So whether they rent it or they put money down, there'd be somebody complaining. I don't think it would matter. But the car situation, I might give them a little leeway on the moving. You know, like I said, I'm kind of like up and down about the moving situation because I know, like I said, when you move, people can still find you. As you hear, a neighbor has already docked the car and said it has a paper tag on it. So somebody knows you're in that house. Online sleuths, as they said, were trying to find these people because that's what people do, especially people who do what I do up here, blog. They hunt stuff, pull up stuff, court records, documents. I don't do all that stuff because I don't have that kind of time. I don't want to waste my time doing all that. I don't feel like I need to be, you know what I'm saying, that type of busy, pulling up documents and running around trying to see what this person said in a police file and police report. I don't do all that. I don't consider myself a detective, and I'm not doing that. I'm not paying for no records. I'm not paying for no documents. Some YouTubers, they do that. They have that type of resource, that type of money where they can go buy documents. And I'm not sitting on a computer all day where I need to be paying for stuff. I'll relay the information to you when the news brings it to me, and then I'll bring it to you all. But that's the latest developments, everybody. Miss Anthony feels like she's being threatened. They're being threatened. They want people to stop harassing them. She feels like her son defended himself that day at the track meet. Menendez brothers, we're going to wait on a risk assessment to be done, obviously, pertaining to them getting out. Their lawyers wants the DA recused. I guess he feels like he's wishy-washy and not giving these guys a chance at freedom. Sean Puffy Combs went into court, they say looking gray, and his attorneys asked for a 2-month delay because of the new superseding indictment, and the judge has denied a delay. Trial will commence in May. I believe it's May 15th. Darnell Jones, who discarded KEIMANI Lateague at this burning home, $4 million bail yesterday in court, admitted to police that he killed her. He was in court in a wheelchair. He's currently in jail. And that's the latest that I've got. I think I've touched on all my subject matters pertaining to breaking news. There are a few more stories I want to bring to you pertaining to Victim X out of Connecticut. That will be the live after this one. We're going to listen at this garbage from the lawyer, Kimberly Sullivan's lawyer. He's a very cocky, arrogant piece of work. And I just think it's so sad and disgusting how this woman is taking no responsibility for keeping this man kidnapped. And the fact that this guy would argue with Banfield on a live broadcast about what restraint, the definition of restraint, is so disgusting, because anybody knows that when you lock a person in a room, that's a restraint. It may not be physical, but you're restraining the person from moving, which is also kidnapping. He's a lawyer. He should know the law. You know, very vile information. That's the latest developments, everybody. Right now, you're watching a fire get put out, basically, by firemen in Toledo, Ohio. This is where KEIMANI Lateague was discarded by Darnell Jones Oglethorpe, whatever he's going by. That's the latest developments, everybody. You all have a wonderful Easter. Hope you all stay safe. Be safe with the kiddies out here. Just be safe. I'm trying to think of everything that I wanted to talk about. I think those are all the subject matters. Something that probably comes to me here in a little bit. But I'll put up a poll pertaining to the Anthonys. Should they have moved? Should they have bought a car, if true? I'll put up a poll pertaining to that information. Whoever set this fire, you should not have set this fire. Let justice be served the right way. They were going to tear down this house within 3 months. That's what the city told the public. And you should have allowed them to do that. You setting this fire, now you are an arsonist. Obviously, you don't care. Some people probably agree. Well, I don't care. I'm glad the person set it on fire. Maybe it's more than one. I don't know. But at the moment, this is considered an arson attack against this structure, which you see they're bulldozing it down. So, only thing the city has to do is pick up the carnage after the fire and the smoke is subsided. It's very crazy information coming out of Toledo, Ohio, everybody. Very crazy. News 11 is the source if you need verification for the information. Hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. It's beautiful here in the high 10, East Tennessee. It's a gorgeous day. Please be safe with the children tomorrow if you all are going to services and taking the children Easter egg hunting. Make sure you all watch for children out and about. And thanking God for life and sending his son to die on the cross for our sins. I must throw that in there. Got to give God. As they say, they pulled away the stone and he rose from the grave. Some of you may not believe in God or Jesus. It's your choice, but I am a believer. Crazy, crazy information right here, Toledo, Ohio. Structure is just about down, if you can see that. And also the 4 people who were, there were several people shot at FSU in Florida. 4 of those people are expected to recover from their injuries, so that's a blessing. But sadly, 2 people did pass away during that shooting in Florida. And also information is coming out. The mother had posted something to social media lashing out before the murders. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go and pick up another device and see if I can pull that information up before I get off this live stream. Thank you for joining me. So many updates. I can't even keep up with things that I plan. There's always something extra popping up along the way. Excuse me. this is pertaining to the birth mother, okay? The woman whose gun that he got, that's his stepmother. That is not his biological mother. So they had quoted that as his mother at the beginning of this story, but that's his stepmother, the Florida deputy, whose gun he stole and used at the shooting at his university. All right, everybody. Hindustan Times is the source of this information. The biological mother of Phoenix Eichner, the alleged gunman in the Florida State University shooting, launched into an angry social media rant just before her son was publicly identified as the suspect. Oh, so I thought it was going to say before the shooting. Okay, so this is before he was identified. Phoenix Eichner, 20, was arrested on Thursday after allegedly killing 2 people and injuring 6 others in a violent shooting on FSU campus. Before authorities named him as the shooter, his birth mother, Anne Marie Erickson, posted a scathing message targeting Phoenix's father, Christopher Eichner. Court records reviewed by CBS News revealed that Erickson and Christopher were embroiled in a custody battle that lasted more than 15 years. The legal dispute began in 2007 and continued until 2023. During that time, Erickson accused Christopher and his wife, Jessica, of slander, filing a lawsuit in 2015, which was ultimately dismissed the following year. What did she write? Just moments before Phoenix Eichner was identified as the suspect in the FSU shooting, Miss Erickson lashed out at Christopher and Jessica Eichner in a social media post on Thursday. Let's see. They're not saying what she said. This is not a good article. It's just, okay. Let me see. Hold on. It says, according to a now deleted post viewed by the Mail, Erickson accused Christopher of being mentally unstable and allegedly that he and his wife were ignoring her attempts to get updates about Eichner. She went on to describe the family as nuts and continued to direct insults at Christopher. He should write a book on how to parent badly, but he can't communicate, she claimed. According to Leon County court records, Phoenix Eichner's biological mother, Anne Marie Erickson, kidnapped him nearly a decade before the FSU shooting that occurred on Thursday amid a bitter custody battle. In March of 2015, Erickson violated a custody agreement by taking her 11-year-old son to Norway under false pretenses. She had told her ex-husband, Christopher Eichner, that they were heading to South Florida for spring break, but instead fled to Scandinavia, triggering an international custody dispute. The incident was detailed in a probable cause affidavit reviewed by People. While in Norway, Erickson reportedly avoided answering Christopher's questions about when Phoenix would return. During this time, Phoenix, then known as Christian Gunnar Erickson, missed school tests, medical appointments, the medication for his growth hormone disorder, and ADHD, the affidavit states. Upon returning to the U.S., Erickson pleaded no contest to the charge of unlawfully removing a minor from the state and was sentenced according to court records. It remains unclear whether Phoenix maintained any contact with his birth mother after the incident. HindustanTimes.com is the source. So these people obviously were going back and forth with each other, and this little boy was caught up, at the time he was a child, he was caught up in the middle of this custody issue with the parents. She takes him to Norway illegally because, you know, the law says you cannot take a child married out of state or out of the country without the other parent's consent. What's crazy, she came back. Why would you come back? You should have known you would have been arrested. They're going to put all that in the database at the airports, that there's a child missing, kidnapped. So when you enter back in, your name's in that database once you touch down on American soil. That's where she messed up. That's where she messed up. But the flip side is we don't know what was going on in his household. We don't know if this father was abusive to the child or the mother, mentally abusive, physically abusive. Don't really know. It's a he said, she said type situation. But obviously it's affected this kid because now he's going to have to stand trial for murdering 2 people and shooting 6 individuals at his own university. So obviously he has some issues. What those issues are, I don't know. But we know he comes from a troubled background. And I think they also said they may have seen some political things maybe on his social media accounts. Not really sure about that. But either way, he comes from troubled people, people who couldn't get along. And people don't really understand what that can do to the mind of a child. When you're bickering and arguing and you're name calling, and it ends up sometimes spilling over to where you end up mistreating the kid. So we don't really know how they treated him. We don't know if he really wanted to be with his father, if he wanted to be with his mother, or he wanted his parents to be together. Don't know. But in the meanwhile, he's an adult and he's not well. He's not stable. He's not mentally stable. And for him to steal that gun and go to that campus and shoot those people, murdering two, it shows you he was not wired right. And I also asked you all the question pertaining to the stepmother, which was labeled his mother. Should she stand account for leaving her gun out for him to get access to the gun? Take the polls on my community page. Should this woman, Eichner, be held accountable, maybe even charged, with some type of charge for leaving her gun out? Now, somebody will argue that point and say, well, Queen, he was going to find the gun either way, and he probably would. But she's in law enforcement. She should know better than leave her gun out for anybody to just pick up. Because that gun could have ended up anywhere. You know, somebody could break in your house, steal your gun. It's involved in a robbery, a shooting, a murder, which it did. So she should know better as a law official who's worked almost 20 years in law enforcement. You should always lock up your gun once you get home. She should know better. But she probably felt comfortable that there's nobody at the house, I guess, but she and her husband, so I'll just leave it wherever. Well, your son got a hold of it. Now I got to ask the question, did he live at home or did he live on the campus? I don't know if I've got that information or not. I'm not following the story like really closely, but I want to go ahead and throw that out there. You know, send my prayers to the victims' families, and just to bring you a brief update pertaining to what was going on behind the scenes with this young man and his family. He obviously came from troubled people, and perhaps this is what has affected his mindset as an adult. He hasn't gotten over whatever the hell was going on with him, and maybe it caused some type of, you know, personal issues in his ideology. And people really don't understand that when you become an adult, you don't necessarily behave like an adult, okay? You have to grow into being an adult. And whatever you went through in life, you still carry that SHIT with you. Not making any excuses for what he did, but just saying. We have troubled adults because they were troubled children, subjected to God knows what, all type of abuse, crazy ideologies, erratic mindsets, radical political thoughts, religious thoughts. This is the reason why people talk and act the way they act. Just the way it is. It's how they were treated, how they were reared as children. So he grew up troubled. And he was an adult, still troubled. Don't know why he shot those people. But he did. And he can't take it back. And we know he knows right from wrong because he revoked his right to speak when apprehended. So he knows right from wrong. That's the latest, everybody. Showing you the house, I believe it was at Miami Street, where KEIMANI Lateef was discarded. They're walking about. And that's the latest. I'm going to check out here and I'm going to come back and talk about crazy nonsense out of Connecticut. Please look in the YouTube queue and check out my shorts. I'm going to do shorts on each topic that I discussed during this live stream for those who don't want to hang around and listen to winded live streams. I get it. Everybody's busy. But you all have a happy Easter. God bless all of you. Please stay safe. And like I said, mind the children. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. Mind the children. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $DeAngie129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. This was about a 4 or 5 part live stream. KEIMANI Lateef, the home where she was discarded, was set on fire by an arsonist. Darnell Jones, $4 million bail, still in custody. Documents say he admitted to killing KEIMANI Lateef. Sean Puffy Combs went to court. He asked for a delay, 2-month delay. He was denied. Menendez brothers, the state is asking for a risk assessment pertaining to giving them their freedom. Sean Puffy Combs, to just mention that, once again, delay in his situation. And the Anthonys have spoken to the public pertaining to their son, the mother. She wants the harassment to stop. Also, Mr. Metcalf showed up at that press conference she gave this week, but he was escorted out. He was asked to leave. They felt it was inappropriate for him to be there, and they believe he does not have any respect for their family. He should not have showed up. Weigh in. I'll put a poll up about that. And also, there's rumors that they put money down on a house and also bought a car. I'll put a poll up about that as well. Give me your opinion on what you think. Should they have moved? Should they have got another home? Should they have purchased a new car with the GoFundMe money raised for allegedly his legal defense? I hope I touched on everything in my title, because I did have quite a bit. And I also mentioned Wendy Williams. She's concerned about the medication she's gotten that does not look familiar to her, and she's inquired about it. No response from the doctor or her guardian, Miss Morrissey. What's a self-defense? Carmelo Anthony. African-American boy stabbing a white boy at a track meet over a seat. All of this was petty and silly to me. But as I have said before, when it comes to true crime, that's all it takes. One wrong comment, statement, push, shove, punch. Now you have a murder. And that's where we are today. Sadly, that is where we are today. Thank you for your time. God bless all of you. Thank you, Scott Maiden, for joining me. You all have a wonderful weekend. Happy Easter, everybody. You have been listening to the Vault Excel. Thank you.